Fable 5 is back, and as expected, people have very mixed opinions about it. Some people are excited, some people are already complaining, some people say it feels limited now compared to the initial release. Some people say it feels falling back to Opus 4.8 too often, and then you have other people creating really cool things with it. So, what's actually going on? Let's talk about it. Claude Fable 5 was one of the most talked about AI models from Anthropic. People were excited because it was positioned as a very powerful model, especially for coding, longer running tasks, reasoning, analysis, and more complex work. Then access became restricted. There were concerns from the US government around security, misuse, jailbreaks, and the ability for of these advanced models to help bad actors with risk cyber related tasks. So, for a period of time, many users could not access Fable 5. But now, Fable 5 is back. But it didn't come back exactly the way some people expected. Anthropic added additional safeguards, guardrails, to their model. And one of the big things people are talking about is the fallback system. In simple words, if Fable 5 detects that a request may create security risk or falls into a restricted area, the system may route that request to Opus 4.8 instead. So the user thinks they are using Fable 5, but certain requests may be handled by Opus 4.8. And this is where a lot of the frustration is coming from. Some users are saying, I wanted to use Fable 5 for coding, I wanted to use for debugging, I wanted to use it for deeper technical work, but now it keeps falling back to 4.8, to Opus 4.8. And to be fair, I understand why people are frustrated, because if you are paying attention to a model release and you are excited about a new model, you wanted to actually use that model. You do not want to feel like every time you ask something technical, the system says, actually, let's use another model instead. But there is another side to this story. Anthropic is trying to reduce risk, because with these frontier models, especially models that are very strong at coding, reasoning, and security analysis and long horizon tasks, the line between a useful coding request and the risks cybersecurity request can become very thin. For example, fixing a bug and finding a security vulnerability can look similar from the model's perspective. A developer may be doing something completely legitimate, but the system may still flag the request because it looks close to something risky. So now you have this tension. Users want power and intelligence. Companies want safety. Governments, they want control. And the model provider has to balance all of that. Anthropic, OpenAI, all these companies, they have to balance that. Give the users the intelligence that the users want, while still making the model safe and comply with the government requests. Right. So it's been a kind of a tough situation. And this is why reactions are mixed with this re-release of Fable 5. Some people are saying Fable 5 is back, but it feels too restricted compared to the initial release. Other people are saying the restrictions are necessary. Some people are complaining about a constant fallback to Opus 4.8. And then you have people still creating impressive things with it. I saw people talking about building apps, testing workflows, and doing creative experiments. Also, so one or two examples where people were discussing using Fable 5 to play Pokemon and things like that. Now, I'm not saying every demo like that is automatically business value, but it shows why people are excited because of the model capability. Because these models are getting very, very, very strong and capable. And that's the interesting part. Fable 5 is powerful enough that people are both amazed by it and worried about it at the same time. That's usually a sign that the technology is moving into a more serious stage, right? But here's where I want to shift the conversation to business and AI architecture, because a lot of people are reacting emotionally to Fable 5 being back. Some are excited, some are disappointed, some are upset about a fallback, some are rushing to test it because they think access to this model can be restricted again. But the bigger question is, do most business and people or individuals actually need this level of intelligence? And in many cases, the answer is no. Most businesses do not need the most powerful model for every single task. And this is something I think people keep forgetting. Just because a model is impressive or is powerful does not mean it should be used everywhere. A lot of people are using Fable 5 right now for fun, experiments, curiosity, and testing, and that's perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with experimenting, but business value is different from experimentation. A model doing something cool does not automatically mean it creates value inside of a business. If your business needs to move the data from one system to another, you probably do not need Fable 5. If your business needs to send a follow-up email after a form submission, for example, you probably do not need Fable 5. If your business needs to classify a simple lead as sales, support, or billing, you probably do not need Fable 5. If your business needs to create a CRM record from a structured form, you may not need AI at all. You may just need automation. But if your business needs to analyze a complex technical document, reason through a massive problem, plan a multi-step workflow, review complicated code, or make sense of a large amount of unstructured information, then yes, a more advanced model may make sense. So from a business and cost perspective, the question is not what's the most powerful model I can access. The better question is what level of intelligence does this task actually require? Do I really need a strong model? Do I really need to pay all that money for a simple task? This is how business should think. Because if you use the strongest model for everything, you may end up with a system that is expensive, slow, overcomplicated, and harder to control. And if the model also has fallback behavior, safety restrictions, or changing access rules, then your business workflow may become dependent on something that does not behave consistently across every task. And this is not good architecture, this is not good AI operation. Good AI architecture is about designing the workflow first, then choosing the model, not the other way around. So before you say, we need Fable 5, I would ask for what exactly? What process are you improving? What decisions need to be made? What data is involved? What happens if the model gets it wrong? Does this need advanced reasoning? Does this really need coding ability? Does this need long context analysis? Or is this a simple automation problem? Because if it's simple, use something simple. Use a simple model. If it's complex, use something more powerful. If it's risky, add human review. If cost matters, use model routing. And if the model may fall back to another model, design for that, account for that in your architecture design. So, and that's very important because if your business system depends on Fable 5, but certain requests are routed to Opus 4.8, you need to understand that. You need to know when the fallback happens, in what situations. You need to log it. You need to monitor quality. You need to track costs. You need to know whether the fallback changed the output. You need to know whether the workflow still works. That's observability. You need the layer of observability. That's very important in any production level AI system. And this is exactly why AI systems should not be treated like magic, like a black box. They are systems. They need architecture. They need monitoring. They need fallback plans. They need cost controls. They need human review where needed. And they need to be aligned with business outcomes. So, yes, Fable 5 is back. And yes, people are going to test it, complain about it, praise it, and push it to its limits. And that's normal. But for businesses, the lesson is bigger than Fable 5. The lesson is this: do not chase the most powerful model. Design the right system. Use the powerful model where power is actually needed. Use cheaper models where cheaper models are enough. Use automation where AI is not needed. And use human review where the risk is too high. Because the goal is not to use Fable 5. The goal is to create business value. And if a model does not improve the workflow, reduce manual work, or improve quality, or reduce time, then it may just be an impressive experiment, not a business system. And that's the difference. So the next time you see people arguing about whether Fable 5 is amazing or disappointing, remember this. Both sides can be right. It can be powerful, and it can still be the wrong tool for many business tasks. It can create impressive demos, and it can still be unnecessary for simple workflows. It can be useful, and it can still need guardrails, monitoring, and architecture. That's the real lesson. Not hype, not panic, not use the newest model for everything. Just the right model for the right task inside the right workflow. And that's a wrap for today. This is what we do here in the channel. We just talk about AI operations and architecture and real business implementation. Just practical conversations about how AI actually fits inside real business workflows. And if this was helpful, as always, make sure you like, subscribe, and we'll see you all in the next video.